Everybody, have you watched The Last of Us episode 3 yet? Well, we're going to be discussing that in today's video, so if you haven't watched it, what are you doing here? Other than that, I hope everybody is doing good. I am joined by the one, the only, the Azteral.
Building me up with a bit of hype, Jordan. I'm
Yeah.
not that I just watched The Last of Us. I didn't be in The Last of Us.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, Will would do his famous breakdown of the episode, you know, what happened and all that stuff. And then it was actually not as action-packed of an episode today either.
Very solemn. Very solemn.
So yeah, and we were definitely in tears. But yeah, go ahead and do the breakdown.
So, last episode, we'll do a little recap. Last episode, Ellie, Tess, Joel went to the Capitol building. Tess bitten by, I believe, one of the clickers. So she's turned into a zomboid. So like she can't go with them. So she commits ritual suicide, blows herself up. Pretty sad. She also kills like a massive horde of infected, which was actually really cool to see. This episode, it's actually not focused on Joel and Ellie.
They're only in the beginning.
Yeah, and towards the end, it's more focused on Bill and Frank, who, if you've played, obviously, The Last of Us, you'll know Bill as the crazy guy in the town with all the explosives. Show changes. It changes quite drastically. Bill's not in so much of a big town. He's in a lot of a smaller one. Joel and Ellie don't have that hard of a time actually getting to Bill. It's just Bill's not in the same state as he was in the game. So we get to see Bill actually avoid Fedra at the start after Joel and Ellie come across a mass grave of people that Fedra had obviously executed because they couldn't get them into quarantine zones. Because as Joel put it, dead people can't be infected. Then we cut to Bill. He does his little dance around his town with his shotgun, sweeping for Fedra. He then goes around and he gathers up like a lot of supplies, like a heap ton of supplies, and he sets up his own like makeshift town where he lives on his own, and he's very self-sufficient. He sets up a lot of traps for infected and potential raiders, and on a fateful day in 2006, Frank's there in a pit, and Bill saves him, tests him with the little Fedra scanner thing, and they basically start sleeping together like 5 minutes after meeting each other. So you know things move fast in the apocalypse. We're here for it. Bill's got a load of supplies, so Bill cooks meals that are like actually like restaurant meals and not like, oh look, here's dried meat for the 4th time this week. Like Joel's been feeding to Ellie, poor lass. What else happens? Raiders do indeed attack. Joel and Tess meet up with young Bill and young Frank, and Joel's like, listen, Raiders will come eventually, and they'll come at night and they'll be quiet. And they do come, and they do come at night during a rainstorm. But they're not quiet because it's explosion after explosion, people getting burnt alive. Hell on earth, really. Bill gets shot. Frank tends to his wounds. The next scene, Frank's in a wheelchair, and he's dying of a disease to which I don't know the name of. I did believe it was Alzheimer's at first, but it most certainly was not. I don't believe.
No, I don't think it was Alzheimer's. Because I think he would have probably forgot he was dating Bill. Or just mistaken something for Bill or whatever. It might have just been, I don't know, some sort of sickness that we didn't know about.
But we get to see a day in the life of present day 2023 Bill and Frank, and the day after, Frank tells Bill that it's his last day and he doesn't want to basically live in that condition anymore and be a burden to Bill, so he asks Bill to crush up pills in his wine in his dinner and basically help him commit suicide. It's a very, very heavy episode, and Bill really doesn't want to do it, but he feels like he's obliged to. So they spend the day, they get married, a nice scene, and then the night comes, and Bill pours the glass of wine, but plot twist, he puts a powder in Frank's wine, but he'd already put the pills in the bottle. So Bill's dying as well, which Bill isn't dead when Joel gets to him with Ellie in the game. So that's like, whoa, changing shit. So they're dead. Joel and Ellie arrive, and Ellie finds the letter and gives Joel the key and reads it out. And Joel has a little breakdown outside over Tess, and he builds a battery for Bill's truck. They load up on weapons. Ellie gets a gun. She yoinked the gun that Frank
Behind
had.
Joel's back.
So Ellie now has the gun. I'm sure game players know exactly what that gun's going to be used for eventually. They'll also probably know what's going to happen to the car. But yeah, that was basically the episode. It was a very much we're expanding upon a character episode.
Question though, do you think we will get the guitar segment?
I think we'll get them. I don't think it'll be the same song.
No.
Because the song that is originally played technically hasn't come out in The Last of Us. Because the world ended. So it'd be a different song that Joel plays. But yeah, I think because it's a big part of like Joel's character at this point, because he teaches Ellie how to play the guitar and how to actually sing.
Yeah.
But that's basically the episode. It was very much let's build upon a character, and next episode will probably be a bit more action packed. But yeah, that is the episode. The episode is titled "Long, Long Time" as well, which, to be fair, the episode did go on for a long, long time.
It
was
didn't
very, very
it
long.
didn't really bother me.
It was what, an hour and 15.
I think so, yeah. 1 hour
So
and 15.
it's slightly shorter than the intro to the show, part 1.
Yeah, the first episode was
85 minutes.
85 minutes, yeah. So
But
I think for the story that they're trying to tell and the way that they're telling it, it feels like that really it doesn't really matter that much.
well, the only thing that they really cut out was the school scene. So in the game, by this point, you would have seen and killed a bloater, one of the big infected. But it seems like they're holding off on like the bloater reveals, because you don't know what a bloater looks like, do you?
I think I've seen photos.
Well, if you've seen photos, trust me, you've not seen anything yet. Those things are terrifying. But I feel like in an interview, one of the directors said that they didn't want it to be like the game because the game had to have gameplay. So there
Yeah,
had to be.
that's when doing an adaptation like this is always going to be lost in translation, because you've always got to look at the point of there in a game. There's gameplay, there's action, there's stuff to do, but you've got to really think about it as we're gonna do this as a show, but you've also got to think about, but how are we gonna do it without gameplay? How are we supposed to do that without that type of gaming experience? But
And the answer is you take what's already there and you build upon
you build upon it, yeah, like the whole Bill thing.
it. They're
He,
not telling a new story, they're telling the same story with a different layer of pain.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, also, another thing that happened in the episode, because I'm going to point out it, because it was the biggest part of the episode, Joel put the gun away. He doesn't have the AR anymore. He's canonically accurate Joel, other than the fact that he has a
If I'm
revolver
right, because
instead of an
it says we
M1911.
don't have enough ammo for it. I think that's
Yeah,
what it
it says
says.
there's not enough. There's not enough ammo, so it's basically useless.
Yeah,
But yeah, what do you think, Jordan?
I really enjoyed that episode. I thought it was good to have, you know, difference. It was good to have a little like update on, because we've had action after action a little bit, so it's good to get to see other sides of this apocalypse and get to see what other type of people are out there in the world. And I think with that you've got Bill, who's this tight ass guy who really just wants to be left alone. Um, he wants to be left alone, but he also wants to, you know, look after himself. And then invites this guy in who he seems to fall in love with him a lot quicker. Seems to fall in love with him quick. Um, but that doesn't bother me. But obviously we didn't see what happened in between the times, because there was a few time jumps.
Several 3-year time jumps.
Yeah, there was several time jumps in the episode, so it's not that big of a deal, to be honest with you. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought the episode was really good. I thought it definitely brought a lot to it. It definitely, you know, built on what was already established and that. And seeing Joel not want Ellie to mention Tess was sad to see, because he had to walk outside and um be like, right, never mention her name again and stuff like that. Um,
She's growing on him.
yeah,
She's growing on him.
I feel like she is growing on him, but like, he's also like, yeah, girl, fucking stay out of my way. Um,
Yeah.
but it's also, yeah, type of the thing that I feel like the episode, um, it did a lot of stuff. It did a lot of stuff really well.
And your rating would be?
This episode, I think I'm gonna give um probably an 8.2, maybe.
I know.
Might get
I know.
higher. I never know. You never know with these things. What about you?
I thought it was good. I thought it was a little slow, and I think a few of the time skips could have been avoided. I feel like there were a few too many scenes that didn't really add anything to their relationship and sort of were there just to hit a runtime quota.
Mm.
Not to say that the episode was bad, but it's definitely the weakest of the three in terms of story development and actual like narrative experience. But I see what they're going for. They're going for a new sort of style in this less actiony world, because The Last of Us is hyper fantasy because you've got to feel like a badass while you're playing. But in this is about survival.
It's much more. It is much more about the survival aspect of this type of story that works, and it's supposed to be, you know, building upon the game, which it does really well. It definitely builds upon it. It makes you care about the characters a lot more. But for a video game TV show, it's definitely broke the. I'd say it's broken the whole, you know, thing of, oh, you can't make games into movies, it'll never work. Things get lost in translation, stuff like that. But yeah, I can see where people are coming from, but like a TV show based on a video game can work. It's just it needs to be done by people who care. Talking to the people who make The Witcher, even though that's based off the books, but whatever, still. But yeah. Anything else?
Other than my rating for the episode, which I believe, after careful consideration and fully accepting that I will likely get flamed in the comment, I'm going to give it a 6.
6.
6. I definitely think that'll be possibly the lowest rating I give an episode of the show. Overall, with all 3 episodes taken into account, it's a solid 8.5. But this episode does bring it down slightly with just a bit too much exposition. So yeah, 6.
Alright. I guess that's about it. That's all we've got to say on that matter. Hope everybody did enjoy today's video. We hope that you all will let us know in the description what you thought of the episode. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What have you? Let us know down below. We hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I have been one of your hosts, Slasher.
I've been your other host, Azteral.
And we will see you all later. Bye for now.
Forget 1,000 things every day, pal. Make sure this is one of them.